Welcome to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. In this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. We are here breaking down the top 10 quarterbacks according to GMs, owners, coaches, and everything in between. We're also talking about Conor McGregor because he's been a little busy on the internet lately. Bada boom, man, the people in the room. G Money Grant Mitchell, how you doing?
I'm feeling really good, Tanner. You know, it's Tuesday, new week. I told you on our last show, you saw I had a different background behind me. I'd been kicked out of my house because my girlfriend's sister was having her bachelorette party here this weekend. I don't want to know what went on in my home while I was gone. I just know that I'm back home, got to sleep in my bed again, and I'm feeling good.
There definitely was a stripper there.
It's definitely possible. And get this is the worst part. So her sister's cool. Her sister's more of a homebody anyway. So it's possible that nothing really went on. My girlfriend has back-to-back bachelorette parties this weekend, and this friend, this is the troublemaker, and this is I think it's in Atlantic City. Like there's potential for something to go on there. So if I was worried about one of the two, it's definitely the upcoming one, and I will report back next week.
Lots of strippers. Lots of strippers. There probably somebody came, knocked on your door, and was like, "There's a refrigerator that needs fixing, I hear."
Yeah, plumbing, pizza delivery.
Gotta unplug some pipes.
What's the job application process like for a male stripper?
I don't know, probably OnlyFans, and then you just want to branch out and explore.
But so if you have an OnlyFans and you apply and they ask for like work samples, do you attach your OnlyFans link?
Yeah, probably. I think that's probably the best.
Get some work referrals.
I don't know. I've never really explored OnlyFans, especially the male side of it, but I imagine that's what it would look like.
I'm just wondering, do they post these jobs online? You know, is there a LinkedIn for like your local male strip club that you apply to?
Oh, it's probably like Vegas a little bit. Like I'm sure there's just some companies, there's some pimps, right, that probably pimp these people out, I would think. Or they're self-contractors, but they're also self-contractors if they work for a pimp, I guess.
Yeah, but if you're a male stripper, you're definitely using a 1099.
You're a 1099, yeah. You're paying taxes on that money, that hard-earned money. I wonder if there's any tax on tips for strippers.
Well, maybe you just don't report them. Maybe you just pocket it and don't tell anyone.
Probably. I mean, it's got to be all cash. It's got to be all under the table.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine you get a lap dance. You say, "Hold on, I'm gonna Zell you real quick."
Yeah, speaking of naked men, Conor McGregor.
That's an awesome transition. That was elite.
I didn't even try to set that up, but Conor McGregor. I wonder how many nudes he sent out this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. Why don't you give the background story here, just so people who don't know can understand what we're talking about?
I think if you didn't hear about that, like this went worldwide. This wasn't. It doesn't matter what corner of Twitter you're on. You know about Conor McGregor and what do you say, Azealia Banks?
Azealia Banks. Yep.
I've never heard of this woman in my life. I've only heard of the double champ because double champ does what the double champ wants to do. But basically, Conor was sending out nudes. The one he sent to, I believe, Azealia Banks. I think he actually sent two to her, and one he strapped a dumbbell to his what's the proper
to his malehood.
Yeah, he did a dick pic and he straps a dumbbell to it. Like that's unbelievable.
Was he so I haven't seen was he curling it in the picture with his thing?
I don't know. Every picture has been blurred out, so we can't necessarily see. I mean, I haven't gone on the dark web and tried to find the picture that's not blurred out, but every picture I've seen is blurred out. And then Azealia Banks said, "How are you really going to sexually harass me with the potato farmer dick, then threaten me not to tell? Honey, ain't you trying to be the president of Ireland? What is it giving, fam? Use some effing sunscreen, damn." But like, I think Azealia Banks thought she was special. And there was another girl, at least online, that reported the exact same message. I don't know if she got the dumbbell picture, but there was another girl that reported like the exact same thing.
I don't understand. And I'm not going to say I'm not saying anything negative about Azealia Banks's looks or anything like that, but Azealia Banks is not the right person to send this picture to, because if you know anything about her, which I know that you don't, but she is well known. Honestly, her singing, rapping, songwriting career is not even as big as her online feuding career. She is very eccentric, very over the top. She never really holds her tongue. She's quick to engage in these back and forths online. So I don't know why you would send it to her, because you knew she was just going to stir up some controversy.
Has she dated a pro athlete or something? She must have, right?
Well, I'm sure in the past, yeah, I couldn't tell you who, but I just know that she's always getting into these back and forths online. That's like her thing.
I mean, Conor started this one. I'm not gonna lie.
He did start it, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know why you would choose her, especially when there's someone like that, and you say, by the way, you better not tell anybody. That's the first thing that she's gonna do.
You know what, though? And I was listening to an interview on Dana White, and he was talking about the potential White House card and how everyone wants to fight on it. I don't think Conor will be back. I wish he was.
No way, no chance. He hasn't fought since 21, right? And he was washed back then.
He was supposed to fight Chandler, a year ago, and then it just fell through. But I thought that fight could be on the White House card before this happened. You never know. But Conor has established himself as such a high level person. Like, Conor has cheated on his wife all the time. He still hasn't married his wife. He was kissing the girl on the beach in Tampa the other day, or in Miami, wherever it was. But Conor has established himself as the guy so much. Like, he is a larger than life presence that nobody really cares what he does. It's the double champ. We're still living on the Conor of the UFC heydays. Like, it's crazy to think about. Like, people, like, again, I don't really care what he does here. Like, I love Conor the fighter. I think Conor, he's one of my favorite UFC fighters, as everybody, most people out there. Like, a lot of people love Conor McGregor, his ability to put on fights and boxing Mayweather and all that stuff. That was awesome. But when you're looking at this, like, nobody, like, people, this is a joke. Like, this is a big joke. Everything he does is like a joke outside the octagon. Like, people just want to see him fight because he's larger than life.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's looking to Conor McGregor to be really a role model outside of like bringing yourself up from nothing and becoming a successful athlete. You give that to him, but you don't really look to Conor McGregor for life advice, or maybe how you approach a woman on the internet.
He used to be so, like, driven too. That's the crazy thing. Like, when he was coming up, and you look at these like motivational Conor McGregor videos and speeches, like, he was so focused on just being the champ and being the best there was, and then he got his money, and that was it.
He was the one who had the quote, right? Like, it's easier to wake up and get hit in the face when you're sleeping on the streets versus satin sheets, I think is what he said.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. Like, he doesn't need to. There's no amount of money that he needs to fight. And that's why this White House card potentially is something that could get him back, right? And same thing with John Jones. Now, John Jones is, I do believe he'll be on that White House card. So I saw a TikTok the other day. John Jones basically, like, knows the money he can get. He retired, I think, knowing that this White House fight was coming. Now he's entered back into the UFC testing protocol. That means he's going to fight at some point. And now he knows the money that he could get in a regular building. Now it's at the White House. It's an even bigger card. And if we had Jones versus Aspinall headlining the White House card, that'd be bigger than life. So Dana is going to have to pay him even more. So Jones gained the system. But Conor, I really thought, like, the White House card would be the thing that gets him back. And that's the case for a lot of fighters. A lot of guys are going to want to fight on this card. So it's something that's can motivate them outside of money. It's like the home run derby last night. You know, you can't, like, $1 million. Everyone's like, oh, this is awesome. Bless you.
Thank you.
$1 million is awesome. It's great. Like, 3 of the guys last night in the derby, their salaries are lower than $1 million, but you can't motivate Aaron Judge to participate in the home run derby with $1 million because it beats his body up and it's not worth it to him.
I was texting you during the derby. I wasn't watching. Forget what I was doing, but and you told me that Cal Raleigh was not going to win because of his dad. But then I wake up and I look at ESPN and he does win.
Well, the first round, and it was an amazing win too, because Caminero only had to have 8 home runs in the semifinals, and he was fresh going into the finals. But his dad was freaking terrible in the first round. They were just off rhythm. They didn't have it. Dad settled in a little bit. Second round, he was just low and inside, high and inside, and Raleigh was just like drilling everything. They settled in really nicely. And Raleigh only advanced out of the first round by like 0.09 inches, which was crazy over Brent Rooker. So, like, that's dumb too. Like, if the guys hit the ball the same amount of feet, there needs to be a swing off. We shouldn't go to like the exact stat cast inch. This is coming from a guy who won money on Cal Raleigh last night.
Do you think Cal Raleigh is on steroids?
No.
It just so I was talking. So you're the baseball guy here. I haven't paid super close attention to this season or most seasons, honestly. But catchers historically not as great offensively. There's the load of wearing the heavy gear and crouching all game, so you just don't see him. So it's not just that it's such a historic season overall. It's a historic season from a catcher. And Cal Raleigh, yeah, he hit what, like 34, 35 home runs last year, but he's already beaten that and the season's halfway over. Like, what things like this don't just happen out of nowhere is kind of what I'm saying. And I'm not accusing him necessarily, but I'm just saying that it is easy to sort of draw that conclusion.
I mean, he's got a lot of meat on the bones. Like, I think if you're taking what's it called? Trent, yeah. Trent Malone is who's the influencer? Why can't I think of his name? Toby. Toby?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Sam Sulek. Yeah.
Oh, Sam's like all natural, isn't
he? No.
But Sam's like a normal guy. Like Togi just likes to like take steroids and gamble. Like Sam is like living in the gym.
Yes.
So Togi likes Trent. But anyways, I don't think so. He's too fat.
Well, I was talking to one of my buddies who is a big baseball guy, and he said he thought Cal Raleigh actually might be a little bit slimmer than he was last year.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think you can take steroids in today's game. I don't think you're going to get away with it. Like, unless you're just trying to go all. I mean, you can take steroids, guys do it, but like you're not going to get away with it. Like, knowing that Cal Raleigh is going to hit 50-something bombs this year, he's going to get drug tested. Like, you just know it's going to come. So I don't think so. But it's a historic season. He's still batting 260. Like, everyone's like, oh, he should win MVP over Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is batting 100 points higher than this man. Like, he should not. He has only got 3 more home runs. He's got 1 more RBI. Aaron Judge is your MVP.
Let's see. So Cal Raleigh's he's got 38 home runs. The Mariners are 90. Let's see here. The Mariners have they have 66 games left. He has hit follow with me here. He's hit 38 home runs in 96 games. So he hits 0.395 home runs per game. So if we do 0.3955 times 66, he's expected to hit another 26 home runs, which would mean that for the year, he's supposed to finish with 64.
Interesting.
And what Judge had, did Judge have, was it 65 last year?
No, I think Judge had like low 60s last year.
It was 62,
maybe?
Or not, it was 58.
58. Okay.
He had 62 in 22. That's what it was.
Okay. Gotcha. Wait, 62 and 22. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Judge is just amazing. 62, 58, on pace for another huge season. So anyways, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he's on steroids. Another baseball news, just because I'm the Boston Red Sox fan, then we'll move into our football conversation here. But the Red Sox are back. The young pups, Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer. I think Roman Gonzalez might have been there too. I'm not sure. But they were in Martha's Vineyard, 2-to-1 female to male ratio in Martha's Vineyard, rented a house for the week, All-Star break. So the boys waited, the young pups waited until the All-Star break to have some fun. We respect it. The Red Sox are so back. It's not even funny how back the Red Sox are now.
Where are they right now in the standings?
Second wild card spot, 1 game out of the first wild card spot, and they're partying hard this All-Star break.
Back well over 500, 53 and 45. I remember we talked about them a few weeks ago, and they dropped below 500, I think.
They were 4 games below 500. Then they saw Donald Trump. All right, so you'll love this. They all went to the White House, or maybe one of them did it. Maybe Garrett Crochet didn't. But most of them went to the White House. And since they shook the president's hand, they've won 9 or 10 straight games, which is pretty remarkable. And Donald's tweeting about it, which is awesome. And
yeah, we were talking about this in pre-production. You don't watch soccer, but Trump had a funny moment this weekend because the team I support, Chelsea, won the Club World Cup. The final was held in East Rutherford, MetLife. And they were taking the picture of them holding the trophy, and Trump had handed them the trophy after they won and just didn't get out of the picture. He just wanted to celebrate with them.
He does what he wants. He I respect it. He does what he wants to be in the picture. And he's going to change soccer to football, right?
Yeah, he said that he is prepared to sign an executive order mandating that we change the name soccer to football. And if that happens, what happens to the NFL? Well, what do we call that?
The NFL is still king, Grant. But you know what? Like,
no, it is still king. But like, we can't have two different sports that are called the same name.
Football versus football, and honestly, too, nobody cares about the MLS. Nobody cares about the MLS. So, like, I think soccer should be named football, and it should just be global because the only like Americans care besides Messi in like Miami, right? Like that's like maybe the only thing people care about. Like we should just be focused on the Premier League and all these other dumb leagues overseas.
Yeah, I agree that the MLS. I'm not saying the MLS is going to become more popular than the NFL. That's crazy, but I don't know. It doesn't seem right to have two different things go by the same name.
Let's start with it becoming more popular than the NHL before we say it's going to be
the MLS or soccer in general.
MLS.
Well, I don't know if that'll happen.
In the NHL, no chance.
The MLS is basically just a retirement league.
Yeah. Dumb.
It's either people who, no offense, but people who aren't good enough to be in Europe, or it's European guys who had long careers in their late 30s and they just want to go chill.
What's the MLS minimum salary?
I have no idea.
The minimum salary on the senior slots is 104. The minimum salaries on the reserve is 80,000. That's pretty crazy that they still make a decent chunk. Not good, but
I mean, yeah, but it's like that's regular job sort of money.
Yeah, but I mean, regular job to play a little soccer, play on the pitch. Now, the one I don't understand is like the Hartford Athletic and those dudes. Like that's what league's that, Grant?
The Hartford Athletic?
Yeah, that's like the minors. The Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Minor
league.
Oh, the USL. Yeah, okay. So that's like it's like a league under the top level.
Those guys were flying Southwest with me down to Tampa one day, and I'm like, this is not worth it, guys. This ain't worth it.
Well, I mean, if you can make a livable salary and you get to do what you love, then why not?
Why not? It's just hard, I think, when you're doing those minor stuff because you got to go back into the real world too.
Yeah, like I was watching the documentary on Apple TV, I think, about Wrexham, which is the team that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney bought, and they were in the 5th division, and they were interviewing these guys, and it's like they work real jobs on top of their professional careers, and it's like at that point, I respect them being committed, and they're now in an incredible position because they've now been promoted 3 times and they're now in the 2nd division. But with that being said, a lot of those guys who were there in season 1 of the documentary, they're not on the team anymore because Ryan and Rob have bought these new players to come in and replace them because they're better. If you're someone like that who's in the 5th, 6th, 7th division and you're making $15,000 a year, at that point, it's like, yeah, you might just be time to move on.
Speaking of moving on, Fox is moving on from Joy Taylor, and I think we should take a moment of silence for her time at Fox.
I wish I had a list of everybody in front of me. It's Joy Taylor, Acho, Paul Pierce, LaShawn McCoy.
They cut their whole sport. They cut their whole like non pre-post game lineup.
It's 3 shows. Yeah, First Things First is still there. The Herd with Colin Cowherd is still there. Although I remember reading an article a couple months ago that Cowherd was potentially negotiating with ESPN because his contract is up soon. So I think kind of their flagship shows, those are still there. But these other ones that they've kind of been cycling, I think really ever since Undisputed went off the air, they were trying to find that like 3rd show to go there and replace what Skip and Shannon had. And they just haven't found it.
Joy, a lot of stuff's coming out that Joy got ousted though because of her off the field issues.
She probably did.
Probably did. Because I mean, honestly, Joy, like you could keep Joy around and fill her in somewhere. You could keep her.
She started as a host on Undisputed. She was like the moderator between Skip and Shannon.
But like honestly, if I'm picking Joy Taylor or Molly Karam, there's not even I'm taking Molly any day of the week.
Yeah, it's just if the show, I think she was on Speak, right? If Speak was putting up numbers, then we say this about athletes. You can be arrested and still be a 1st round pick if you're a great player. But as soon as the risk doesn't outweigh the reward, yeah, your show's gone.
I think Acho sucks too, honestly.
I do too. I genuinely, I just don't like him. I don't think, I don't want to make this a personal attack. I'll save it, but no, I just don't like him.
I actually met him once. He was kind of dick, but anyways, Paul Pierce too. I like Paul Pierce. I don't think he's good on TV, but I like him.
He's delusional. I don't like athletes. I have no problem with professional athletes or former athletes who get into media. I actually think it's great. I know that journalists like to say that they're not schooled enough to be able to analyze this. Athletes say, like, you never played the game, you don't know how to talk about it. The whole back and forth is boring to me. What I don't like is when professional athletes go up there and they just use their media career as a way to stroke their own egos from their playing career. And that's half of what Paul Pierce does. He talks a lot how about, this player was soft. These young guys don't know what they're doing. And then he said he had a better career than Klay Thompson. He was a better player than Dwayne Wade. Last week, he said he's the best pure scorer in NBA history. This is not what I want to hear. I want to hear you actually converse about real topics. And the problem, also say this, the problem with having former professional athletes is that I feel like they're pigeonholed into only talking about one sport, whether that's fair or not. I personally don't want to hear Keyshawn Johnson talking to me about the NBA finals. And I get that. Like, I talk about all sports and I never played a sport professionally. So I'm not going to give you anywhere close to as good of analysis about how a receiver separates as Keyshawn Johnson is. But because that consumed so much of his life, I don't think he was going home and watching all the basketball games and analyzing them and watching hockey and watching soccer. Whereas even though I'm just a fan from a distance, I do that. I maintain an active interest in all of them. And so I feel like that's when you get to the former athlete versus journalism standpoint. That's probably where the journalism people get a feather in their cap.
Well, I think KD earlier on this season, like, quote tweeted or replied to something that Acho was saying potentially. I don't know if it was Acho, but he was like, these guys don't get hooping. Like, they get football. I don't want to hear football guys talk about hoops and like break it down as if it's like they played, because they didn't. Say about Windhorse or whatever, like, he's just, I don't love Windy. I don't. But like, he doesn't try to talk like he played the game, except when he called Luka fat. Can't call Luka fat.
Yeah, it's the messenger is not really the right person to deliver that one.
Saying that. Anyways, Grant, this show is presented by the World Sports Network. We're about halfway through the show, guys. We're going to break down some quarterback rankings again, because we know you guys love that. But this show is presented by the World Sports Network, WSN, the best sports network to get your sports betting picks, promo codes, articles, information. So make sure you guys check that out. It's linked down in the bio. I got bonus bets, codes, all that stuff, parlay boost, everything on there to make you a better sports bettor and help you take advantage of some of the great promos that sportsbook like Fanatics and FanDuel and Caesars and MGM have.
Yep, great job. We're going to be moving on to talk about these quarterback rankings. Last week or 2 weeks ago, one of the two, we gave you, Tanner and I, our top 10 quarterback rankings. Today, we're actually going to see how we stacked up, because ESPN a couple of days ago, yesterday, as a matter of fact, published an article where the title is Execs, Coaches, Scouts Rank NFL's Top 10 Quarterbacks for 2025. So we were right ahead of the curve that we had no idea was approaching. According to the little intro here, it says that in total, more than 70 voters submitted a ballot on at least one position, and in many cases, all positions. It also says that the objective was to identify the best players for 2025. This is not a projection or a career achievement award. This is simply who are the best players today. And I feel like that's important to distinguish.
Well, and that's the thing about the rankings. There's so many different ways to rank these players. And, like, who do you want to win? Like, again, I'll say this, when I go to Baker Mayfield, like, I need a guy to put together a drive with 2 minutes to go. Like, Baker is higher up on my list than 10 because he's a freaking dog. So it just comes down to, how you rank these guys.
So do you remember your top 10 list?
I don't know.
Okay. My top 10, I had Mahomes number 1, Lamar 2, Burrow 3, Allen 4, Jaden 5, Herbert 6, Stafford 7, Stroud 8, Hurts 9, Baker 10. That was my top 10.
I had Hurts at 5.
Yep. I think you had. Did you have Stafford 6?
I had Stafford 6. I don't think I had Stroud. No, I had Stroud right at the end. I didn't have Herbert in my top 10.
You didn't have Herbert. You didn't have Stroud either.
I didn't have Stroud, yeah.
You might have had Baker 7.
I had Baker higher than 10, yeah. But we're in the same area. But we
and then you had Jaden 8, I think. It was similar, but there were a couple. We had 9 of our players. We both had them in the top 10. We had them in different spots, and then you had someone I didn't have. I wish I could remember who.
I can look. Cool.
But anyway, so the top 10 here, according to this article. Are you looking for yours?
I'm just looking for the player that I had in it. It wasn't Gino. You had Gino in yours too, didn't you?
No, he was an honorable mention I had.
I might have had Purdy. No, I had Bo Nix. I didn't have Bo Nix. I might have had Purdy in there. I had Jordan Love. I think I had Jordan Love, potentially.
I don't remember who it was. I guess it's not important.
It doesn't matter. Honestly, I like the list that the league came up with, so we're going to break it down.
Yeah, so the list the league came up with, everybody in the world knew that Mahomes was going to be number 1. Now, I will say, so ESPN included a highest and lowest ranking on top of the averages. Someone did put Mahomes at number 4. That's got to be like a Ravens or a Bills scout, I feel like.
Well, I can make the case too that Mahomes could be that low as far as just talent of what we saw last season. Like Mahomes wins, he finds ways to win. I think at the quarterback position, that's by far the most important thing. But when you're looking at like Mahomes, or are you looking at Allen, Burrow, and Lamar, like I can make the case those guys are bigger impact players. But when I need a guy to win late, I want Patrick Mahomes. I don't care who it is. I don't care what offense they're running. I want Mahomes late in the game.
So number 2, they had Josh Allen. You and I did not.
Crazy. It should be Lamar. Everyone's all high on Josh Allen after last season. They shouldn't be. Like he won the Mickey Mouse MVP. Truthfully, Lamar Jackson deserved the MVP. Lamar Jackson had a better season last year. He didn't win the MVP than when he won MVP. He was clearly better than Josh Allen. Grant, we got to break these stats down. Grant, why don't you pull up Josh Allen's stats, and I'm going to pull up Lamar Jackson's stats. We're each going to read it off. And we're going to tell you who's better.
All right. So Josh Allen last year, 3,700 passing yards, 530 rushing yards, 40 total touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and he was second in QBR.
This makes absolutely no sense. Lamar, 4,172 passing yards, 915 rushing yards. So he was way more total yards. Right?
What is that, like 5,100 for Lamar?
Yeah.
So it was about 4,400 for Josh.
Okay.
The 4,300.
Lamar's rushing touchdowns were not as high last year. He only had 4, but his max is 7 in a season. So that's what you're getting. Even with Derrick Henry, he didn't lose that much production there. He had 41 passing touchdowns. He doubled the most he had before that was 36 in 2019.
Well, so how many? He had 45 total touchdowns?
45 total, 41 passing.
Yeah, so Josh had 40 total, 28 passing.
Crazy. All right, Lamar threw 4 interceptions. How many Josh threw?
6.
Okay, another check. And then
QBR, what was Lamar?
Lamar had the best QBR in the NFL.
Josh was second.
All right, so fumbles. How many fumbles?
Josh had 1.
Lamar had 8. So there's
how many did he lose?
4.
Okay.
But come on.
Yeah, that's very low on the things you consider.
How many rushing attempts Josh have?
Attempts 102.
So Lamar had 139. So the only thing that you can knock Lamar for is the fumble. And like people are like, well, Josh beat him in the playoffs. But the MVP was already calculated by then. That had no bearing on the award.
Completion percentage, Josh 63.6.
Lamar for completion percent 66.7. This is ridiculous. It's shameful that Lamar Jackson did not win the MVP. And you know me, I'm not a Lamar Jackson fan. I've not praised him for a long time. Last year I started to come around to him a little bit more. And then, then he's throwing balls up in the playoffs. But I was more of a Josh Allen guy, and that was wrong. He should have never won the MVP last year.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's the ultimate sign of voter fatigue. Voter fatigue for Lamar, and also Josh. he's been supposed to do it, whether it's been win the MVP, win the big game, win the Super Bowl. He's been the supposed to guy, and it just hasn't happened. And it felt like this was kind of just like, all right, fine, here, take it.
Yeah, this was the, hey, we need something for you because you don't win. You never win anything. So we got to give you something. But that was an MVP season that got ripped out of Lamar's hands. And people make the case the most valuable player. I hate when people use this. Well, they're the most valuable for your team. So you're going to punish the quarterback because the front office didn't put a star around him? Come on.
And honestly, I don't know that Josh was still more valuable than Lamar just because Derrick Henry had this amazing season. James Cook was still really good. James Cook had 1,000 yards and he led the league in touchdowns. He had 16 touchdowns, averaged 5 yards per carry. Josh is awesome. Josh is great. I'm not taking that away. But if you replaced Lamar with not even any other quarterback, but a quarterback who doesn't play the way he does, that his ability to do so many different things, that Ravens offense crumbles. So how is Lamar not valuable?
And the most impressive part of Lamar's game, too, is the fact that he doesn't get hurt. Maybe he's gotten hurt, but he doesn't take a lot of big impact shots. The way he plays the game, the fact that he's played in 15 plus games in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, 16 plus in 1, 2, 3 seasons. He's only missed one game the past 2 years. I think that was because they were just in a good spot. I mean, he's been so durable for how he plays, which blows my mind.
Number 3, they had Joe Burrow, and you and I went back and forth between Joe Burrow and Lamar. I think that's fine. They had Lamar at 4. So Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Lamar all received first place votes from at least one person during this process.
Yeah. So I like Burrow. I don't know if Lamar would have been as successful with the Bengals as Joe Burrow was.
I don't think he would have been.
I
also don't think Burrow would have been as successful in the Ravens offense.
No, he 100% would have been. Their systems of their offense. I think Burrow succeeds more in the Ravens offense than Lamar succeeds in the Bengals offense.
Yeah, I could see that. I think it's just a bad fit for both guys because they're both so different.
But you could still, work Derrick. And Derrick Henry works better with Lamar. I will say that. And he works because he the fact that they have another runner to defend helps out Derrick Henry.
We knew who the top 4 were going to be. Josh, you and I agree Josh should be 4th, but they have him 2nd, whatever.
A little high. Jaden's a little high, though.
Number 5 here. So I had Jaden number 5. You had him number 8, I want to say. Either 8 or 9. I think it was 8. The highest ranking he had was 5th. Nobody put him above the top 4. The lowest ranking he had was 10th.
I would put him closer to 10 than I would put him to 5. Unless I'm looking to build around a guy. If I'm looking to build around a guy for the future, I'd probably put him at
5. So at number 6, they had Matthew Stafford. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I had Stafford 7. You had him 6. They have him 6. So, we're all in agreement there.
You didn't have Goff in your top 10.
I did not. You didn't either.
I did.
I don't. No. Neither one of us had Goff. I promise you.
Okay.
Now, I think you might have admitted that you may have overlooked that. Yeah. I kept him out on purpose. But here's the interesting thing about Stafford. So his highest ranking was 4th. And if I go up here and I look at Lamar, someone ranked Lamar as low as 6th, which is insane. Someone ranked Burrow 5th.
Can't win the playoffs. That's the knock on Lamar. And that should be a knock on Lamar. I don't care about the regular season. I care about what you do in the playoffs. You know who's done it in the playoffs? Matthew Stafford.
He has done it in the playoffs, yeah.
I can 100% agree that Jackson, some people shouldn't have him 4th if you value playoff wins. And all Jackson has done, and I know he was much better in the playoffs this season, but all he has done in the playoffs has been missing. That's it.
Number 7, and so I had Herbert. They have Herbert number 7. I had Herbert 6, Stafford 7. I did that just factoring it in a bit of age. I expect Stafford to decline a little bit. They have taken that out of consideration in these rankings. So if that were the case, I would have had Stafford above Herbert. But again, you just want to talk about Justin Herbert being so wildly overvalued by the fanboys who like him because he's tall with good hair and he's got a strong arm and he throws a pretty spiral. Somebody ranked him third. They looked at Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, Allen, Jaden, Hurts, anybody, and they said, yeah, Justin Herbert is the third best quarterback in the league. That's ridiculous. If we're talking about playoff success and how Lamar can't get it done, Justin Herbert hasn't won a single playoff game in his career. He had a 28-0 lead and lost. Well, let's dial it back.
I'm not a big Herbert guy.
You didn't have him in the top 10.
No, because he doesn't do anything. He's capable. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't do it. He's either played for a really bad coach or he plays for a coach now that just wants to run the ball. I mean, he threw 3 interceptions last year solely because they don't throw the football. They don't put them in risky positions.
And then think about what happened in the playoff game, Tanner. They were losing. They had to throw the ball, and he had 3 interceptions in one game.
Yep. Exactly. So no, 4 in the postseason.
Oh, it was 4.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the biggest knock on the Chargers is the fact that when you need to, if you don't throw, you can win in the regular season by running the football, playing clock control. There's going to be a moment though in the playoffs when your defense isn't cooking over the course of a wild card divisional championship round Super Bowl where you're going to have to throw. And if you don't do it consistently, it's going to put you in a tight spot. Even the greatest of quarterbacks, if Justin Herbert is just working play action all season and then you got to sit back in the pocket and throw, it's going to be a lot harder for him. So I don't understand why he's this high on this list. I would not have him this high. I think his skill set, if I'm just ranking, if I'm walking into a room and looking at quarterbacks with shorts and T-shirts on, and I'm going to go out and pick 4 of them, yeah, I'm probably going to take Justin Herbert in the top 4. Not based on how he does in the field, though.
The opening paragraph to the description about Herbert says, Herbert's immense talent keeps him in the top 7, but it hasn't vaulted him into the first tier of quarterbacks despite his elite production. Many evaluators agree if you're starting the league from scratch, Herbert is still getting picked very high. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, workout warrior.
Number 8, Jared Goff. Now, again, you kind of admitted you may have overlooked him. I held him out on purpose. I think the Goff conversations are definitely interesting because, again, if we're talking about someone who can't get it done in the playoffs, Goff has not delivered. He spit the bit in that playoff game against the Commanders last year. Against the 49ers, where they had the 24-7 halftime lead in the championship game, his numbers were good. He was 273 yards.
That wasn't his fault. Don't even try.
1 touchdown, no pick. It wasn't his fault, but at the same time, if you are a quarterback in that position, you're expecting to get it done.
His fault. It was fumble. Who fumbled? Jahmyr Gibbs fumbled or Montgomery fumbled?
I don't remember, actually.
One of them fumbled. It started the train. Then it's 24-14. Then they go 3 and out. I think they get the ball back. That's a game again. I think that was how it went down. There was a big fumble that changed the trajectory of that game. But anyways, they were on the road in that one. That was the first year that the Lions were actually something. That was Dan Campbell's vision coming up. No excuse for how they played against the Commanders last year. You lose with a double-digit favorite at home. But I wouldn't necessarily blame that on him. When he was with the Rams, he made it all the way to the Super Bowl. They got rid of him because they didn't think he was the guy that could win for them. So I can't necessarily knock his playoff success there. He took them to the Super Bowl and they didn't think he was the one, but he still got them there. I don't care if he was handing the ball off and doing play action. He still has done more in the playoffs than Lamar Jackson has. So I need to give credit to my manager.
Well, let's be fair. In that Super Bowl, I believe they led the league in points scored that year. They scored 3 points. He completed 50% of his passes, no touchdowns, 1 interception, missed the playoffs next year. The year after that, they go back. They play 2 playoff games. He doesn't throw for even 175 yards in either one of them. In one game, he only completed 9 passes.
They didn't want him to. That's why they got rid of him. They didn't see the vision with him. But I can't necessarily blame him. What year they go to the Super Bowl?
2018.
2018. That's his 3rd year in the league. A 24-year-old kid going against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. It's not an easy spot for him.
It's definitely not an easy spot. But my point is the negative connotations we have about some of these other players. Jared Goff is not a proven playoff performer, so that should not be an advantage of his against other players. And then if we're just evaluating them like for their talent, Goff is limited. Now, there have been limited players who can do great things, and Goff has put up monster numbers in recent years, but I'm not willing to factor that as heavily because he's had an incredible roster around him with a tremendous running game, who many people believed was the best offensive coordinator in the league and the best offensive line in the league, maybe second if you want to put the Eagles above them. So I can't value his numbers when there's context that has to be added.
Yeah, like you couldn't put him on the Bengals and have him as successful as Joe Burrow was. I'm not saying that's the case, but he's a good system quarterback. He's in the right system. He can win. 30-year-old Jared Goff is different than 24-year-old Jared Goff that lost to Bill Belichick and Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. So I think Goff deserves the top 10. It's the system reflects that, but he's still a good quarterback. If you give him a decent offensive line, I think he could be successful anywhere you go. You can't give him the Bengals, but if you could give him some of the other teams, like if you put him on the Kansas City Chiefs, I think he'd be okay. I mean, they just rely on clock control, and Mahomes doesn't even do much at this point right now, even though he can at any time. I think he probably wouldn't be successful on the Commanders. He'd be successful with the Ravens, I think, because they got a good run game and a good offensive line. He's still a good quarterback.
His highest ranking was number 5. At number 9, they had Jalen Hurts. Now, their highest, I had Hurts at 9. You told me I was crazy. Their highest ranking for him was 6th. You had him at number 5 on your list.
I think he's penalized by the fact that he has Saquon Barkley on his team. I still think he took them to the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley. He had one of the best games of his career against Patrick Mahomes. Didn't get it done. Jalen Hurts can ball a little bit. And I do think he's become a little less mobile because of the amount of hits he's had to take, whether it's the tush push or just running the football. But I think Jalen Hurts should be a little higher than 9 personally.
So just reading some of the description here, they say Hurts' status is cemented. He's a Super Bowl winner who plays big in big moments. The best short yardage rusher in NFL history. One of the most accurate passers in the game. Last year, he led the league in completion percentage over expected. Then it says when asked to be a high volume thrower, he struggled to take care of the ball, had 15 interceptions last year. He did only have, or 2 years ago, only did have 5 interceptions last year, but it was far fewer attempts. They sum this up by saying the question isn't whether he belongs in the top 10. He undoubtedly does. It's whether he has the ability from the pocket to vault into the top 5 eventually. More than a few voters said they see shades of a Russell Wilson career arc. He has many traits that contribute to winning at a high level, but he needs a steady running game around him and wouldn't thrive in a pass-heavy system.
No, but that's not why you're taking Jalen Hurts. I mean, he works great with the run. He can make all the throws he needs to. He probably just can't do it consistently over time if you're in like a West Coast system. But I think Jalen Hurts is on a Hall of Fame trajectory right now.
Oh, I think so, definitely, too. There's a great chance he retires with the all-time lead for quarterback rushing touchdowns. He might already have that. I don't know. But that's definitely possible. His teams are really good. They've been into 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls, and if the front office continues to draft and develop the way they have, yeah, he'll probably win another in his career. And then if you're a 2-time Super Bowl with a league record and you're putting up solid numbers, that's definitely a Hall of Fame career.
He might be first ballot.
I mean, that's so far away. It's really tough to speculate on that.
But he's on that pace right now if he continues to do what he's done.
Number 10, they had Baker Mayfield. I also had Baker 10. You had him, I believe.
You didn't want to have him 10. No, I had him 10. I had him 9-10. He was in that range.
No, I thought you had him like maybe 7, 8.
Yeah, 8.
Their highest ranking for him was 5th. Someone had him all the way up at number 5. Now, the person who did that, I would think they have a preference to look at more like what plays do you make versus what plays cost me. Because Baker did throw 16 interceptions last year, but he also had 41 touchdowns and 4,500 yards. And more times than not, the ball was in his hands and he was deciding what happened. From that perspective, as far as just raw individual playmaking, Baker was definitely up there among probably like the top 3, top 4 quarterbacks in the league. It's just that compared to Mahomes, compared to a Lamar, he did have more mistakes.
That's Baker. That's always been Baker. Let me ask you something, Grant. 2 minutes left in the game. You need a touchdown. How many of these quarterbacks are you taking over Baker?
I would take. I would still take the whole top four. I don't think that's really worth debating. I would take Jaden. Even though he was a rookie last year, they led the league in fourth quarter comebacks. After that, I guess maybe I'll put Stafford in there, and then I'll probably take Baker. Baker's probably right there with Stafford for me.
Maybe Stafford. I'm putting Jaden and him on the same level too.
That's fair. I think Jaden showed he was a little more mistake resistant, but it also was just 1 year. Jaden might slip up this year. So he's so hard to rank because the sample size is so small.
Baker's just a dog. That's what it comes down to. Like if you had to rank quarterbacks off the dog in them, Baker's number one in the NFL.
Last season, Mayfield joined Brady as the only quarterbacks in Buccaneers history with 40 passing touchdowns in a season. He led all quarterbacks in completion percentage and touchdowns against the blitz.
We're forgetting, too, Baker took over for Tom. Like, Baker still had 28 touchdowns, 10 picks. He threw for 4,000 yards in his first season there in a one-year make-or-break deal. Like, very few quarterbacks following his trajectory could have survived their NFL careers. You go to Cleveland, things work out at first, then they don't work out. You leave them to the playoffs. Then you go to Carolina, you're back up, you're splitting time. Then you got to go to the Rams. You get on the Southwest Airlines on Tuesday. You're playing on Thursday night. You show up, you do something okay there. 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, threw for 850 in 5 games. Then you go to Tampa Bay, 1-year deal, make or break deal, finds a way to get the contract, and now he's settled in. He looks great. Very few quarterbacks could have survived his career so far.
100%. There's no doubt about it. I am interested to see what happens now that Liam Cohen is gone, because Liam Cohen, we'll see what happens in Jacksonville. And we've talked about it. He doesn't seem to have the personality of a head coach. He seems to have the personality of a coordinator, but he was a great offensive coordinator. That the offense that Tampa Bay ran was just awesome. So they're handing the reins over to Josh Grizzard. This is going to be the first time in his career that he will be an offensive coordinator. He was the Bucs passing game coordinator last year. Before that, he spent 7 years as a quality control coach and receivers coach for the Dolphins. And before that, he was an assistant at Duke and then at Yale. So this is really a huge step for him. He's 35. And I'm interested to see if Baker's production holds with a new OC.
I like a young OC who's been on the staff. 35 years old is perfect, a little older than Baker. And to top it off, too, when you look at Baker, he had Dave Canales, too. Like, that was his OC. Like, he's had 2 different OCs. And honestly, if you get 2023 version of Baker with a little better Bucky Irving run game now, because he wasn't there in 23, obviously, you had Rachaad White, though. If Baker throws for 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 picks, and you get a good run game, you're still winning the division.
Honorable mentions, they included 2 of them. First one was CJ Stroud. And they say the voting for spots 8 through 11 was close. Stroud appeared on nearly half the ballots, but struggled to capture the same momentum after his rookie year. And then Jordan Love was the other one. They say Love appeared ready for top 10 status by the end of 2023. That shifted slightly in 2024. And we'll see what happens. Also receiving votes, so just players who got any vote at all: Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa, and Bo Nix.
Aaron's crazy a little bit right now at this point in his career.
Yeah, I know they said they were removing reputation, but to give Aaron a vote means you gave him a reputation vote.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he can still sling it. He's still a top half quarterback. We've said that.
Okay, so keeping in the NFL, and this will be our last thing we talk about here. Talking about just some futures bets here, looking at teams that we think can make the playoffs, or for me, miss the playoffs. Because last year before the season started, I put down a parlay. It wasn't a cool, sexy parlay. It was a 3-leg futures on teams not to make the playoffs. I had the Saints, I had the Giants, and I had the Browns. And I tell you what, the odds weren't great. They were like plus 130. But there was no sweat involved whatsoever. Some of the easiest money that I have ever made. Because I think the team that won the most games of those teams was 4 wins, maybe 5. So really easy for me there. And I am going to bounce back here. and I have 2 new futures parlays with the same concept, the same to miss the playoffs. So one of them is going to be, I guess, a little bit more of a long shot, and one of them is pretty simple. The simpler one, plus 106 odds. So again, very short, but you got the Browns, Saints, Giants, Titans, and Colts. 5-leg parlay, miss the playoffs. What do you think of those 5?
What's the odds on that?
Plus 106.
It was Browns,
Saints,
no.
Giants,
no.
Titans,
no.
and then Colts.
No, the biggest Giants could be the wild card there.
Yeah, they could be, but being in division with the Commanders and the Eagles, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to be trash either.
No, but that's the one that I would be somewhat afraid of.
For me, it was actually the Colts, just because I think if I'm looking at the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East. The Texans are the best team in the AFC South. I think the Eagles will have a better record than the Texans, which means there are more wins that are available for a team like the Colts.
Giants minus 1,500 to miss the playoffs. That's crazy. Maybe worth putting them in, Grant.
So are you ready for my other one, which is more exciting? It's longer odds.
Minus 1,500, though. I know that it looks like they got a pretty tough schedule here, but like it's playoffs or bust for this team. Like, if there's no playoffs, the New York Giants are blowing out their entire coaching staff.
Well, we looked at their schedule. Their schedule is insane to start the year. Like, they could be 0-8, and then they just switched to Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
So the other one, it is a 3-legger for plus 566. So $10 wins you 56.
Yeah.
To miss the playoffs, I'll go from I'll do this in a specific order that I think it's the ones you won't argue to the ones you will. The Arizona Cardinals are first. We've looked at the Niners schedule. They should be in the playoffs. And then the Rams are better than the Cardinals. And I think the Seahawks are better than the Cardinals.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings. Now, their team is awesome, but the division is awesome. And I don't know if I trust the rookie quarterback.
I like that.
And then this is the one I think you might argue, the Denver Broncos.
I mean, you got to hope that Bo Nix has a down year. But, like, Sean Payton's a great coach, and we've seen it. When he has the right quarterback, obviously, it's worked out. I think Bo Nix is only going to get better. I wouldn't play that if it was me, especially if you do think the Chiefs are declining in that division. I probably wouldn't play that.
I do think the Chiefs are declining. I think they're still better than the Broncos, and I think the Chargers are definitely better than the Broncos. And then we differ in this, but I think the Raiders will be respectable.
The Broncos defense is really good.
It is really good. That's definitely true. It's probably like a top 3, top 5 defense.
Yeah, and that's what's really hard about it. So I think the Raiders will be okay. I think the Broncos are better than the Raiders. I don't know if they'll sweep the Raiders, but I think they're better than the Raiders.
Well, if you want to play that, you can get Broncos, Cardinals, Vikings for plus 556. And one of my buddies said that I sent it to him before we started recording. He said to take out the Vikings, which I understand because they did win 13 games last year and they have an awesome roster. If you take out the Vikings, it's still plus 250. And to my knowledge, the Broncos and Vikings had very similar odds. So if you left it Cardinals, Vikings and took out the Broncos, it would probably be in that same neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good market. This is one of those that we've talked about this before, but the markets that don't get a lot of love are usually where more of the opportunities to make money are. And everybody's so preoccupied with teams to make the playoffs that, again, last year, it was not cool for me to put Browns, Saints, Giants to miss the playoffs, but it was such easy money. So this is definitely a market that I like.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely parlay a few teams to miss the playoffs and get some good value there. Like, you know, just looking at if you think I think the Cowboys will be trash, but they're a team that kind of concerns me a little bit. But if you're getting one NFC South team to the playoffs, so like say the Panthers aren't going to be that team, I'll put them in. I think the Titans are going to be horrendous this season. I think the Raiders are going to they're not going to win the division and they're not going to make playoffs with a wild card right there. 3 legs. Panthers to miss, Titans to miss, and Raiders to miss plus 106. Biggest concern there would be like the Panthers coming off how they played last season at the end. They could take down the Buccaneers, but I don't think it's likely.
Yeah, there's just it opens up a lot of debates. And you are going to be splitting hairs at certain points, but like everybody's so high on the Patriots, and we did their win total, and we got them at like, we thought they might win 10 games, yet they're minus 194 to miss the playoffs. So a team like that, that's one that I would avoid. But, you know, we're talking about, again, like go back to the Cowboys or go back to the Broncos. Well, if you think that they don't have much of a chance of being in the top two, no matter how top two in their division, no matter how good you think they're going to be, there's probably some value there to betting them to miss the playoffs.
No, definitely. Well, Grant, those ride the line.
Was ride the line. 55 minutes on a Tuesday morning.
55 minutes on a Tuesday. We'll be back on a Friday. We're going to be talking more NFL. Maybe we'll talk a little college football too. People want college football. It's coming up soon. Talk a little college football. So.
Yeah, 100%. So if you want to be around for that, make sure you do hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button as well. It does help us out tremendously. Get us in the algorithms. Jump in the comment section. Let us know what are your thoughts on the quarterback list. What do you think of some of these parlays that we just threw out there? And make sure you do check out WSN.com, home of the World Sports Network.